Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Smirking Gun. I'm Rob. Today we are doing my reaction and review to Star Wars Rogue One. Uh, this movie, I had mixed hopes for it. I hoped it would be good. I was prepared for it to not be good, but I loved it. Um, and I want to try to get it to as much stuff as possible in a limited amount of time. It's really a kind of movie that you could take a really long time talking about. Speaking comparatively, because of the other movies that have the longer arcs, like the prequels and the first trilogy and now this trilogy. I don't consider when you've got 9 movies, these aren't trilogies anymore. These are epic. This is an epic saga. Like it's always, kind of been talked about as, for a lot of the big fans. So, yes, I really dug this movie. Saw it in IMAX 3D. The IMAX was great. The 3D, I was in the front row, so I would have to go see it again in a better seat to say whether or not the 3D worked better for me. I was constantly moving my head around trying to see everything that was going on, because that's just how I am. I'm trying to take it all in. I mean, that's pretty much a lot of people. Well, I want to talk about one of the complaints that people have about the characters. There's no characterization, that people relate more to the regular Star Wars universe movies than to these people. And to that I say, it's because we're supposed to care about the characters in the main Star Wars universe. It's not that we're not supposed to care about the people in Rogue One, but this is something that it's been a continuing saga since 1977. I mean, we're talking like close to 40 years now of these characters. So of course you care more about the characters in the main sagas, episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 1, 2, 3, whatever. This is called a Star Wars story. So when we talk about how there's not much characterization in these movies for this group of people, well, mainly there's a couple of things that are why there's not a lot of characterization. And I should have said this right out the bat, full spoilers, because I'm going to tell you about everything. I mean, it's been close to a week, and if you haven't seen it, if you weren't one of the people that shelled out over the globe, like what, 255 million, close to that, or past that maybe, by now, way past that. They all die. So it's not like you need a ton of backstory on these people. The main girl gets her little background story in the beginning of what will be her motivation going forward, or lack of motivation, or the need to find motivation going on. The rest of the people in it, and a robot, an awesome Alan Tudyk robot. It's like when you watch movies like The Dirty Dozen or The Inglourious Basterds, you like Brad Pitt, but do you know anything really about him except that he's like the descendant of, backwoods people? Like, that's pretty much all you get, and that you get like a basic view of these kind of people. The motivations behind them don't have to be so clear. It's the story, because that's what it is called. This is called a Star Wars story. It's going to have a beginning, middle, and an end. And while you know that the world goes on, the story for these characters ends. The things that they want to tell for the story is complete, which is they've got to get the Death Star plans. And that's it. And unless they wanted to make this like a 4-hour movie, you're not going to get everybody's backstory. You're not going to get everybody's, why do the two Asian guys really have that bromance going on? how did they deprogram, the robot? You know. So I just can't say that enough. I know that there are people that, if you're like in drama, right, and you like a lot, you're into plays and things like that, and it's all about, a lot of that is about characterization and emoting and making sure that people see your presence and know your presence and understand you. You're taking it too personally. Like you're in character mode. You're in that mode. Like you can't see past that. It's a story. It's like when other people write it's like fan fiction. Really? Right? I mean, this is a story that we know about. Like we've heard hints and glimpses, in the past of in the other Star Wars movies about they got these plans, and in the scroll of New Hope they talk about this victory. So something happened. And it's just been one of those things in the lore, and now we finally see it, and that's all it has to be. I mean, it has to also be good, which it just happens to be. People talking about the pacing, that's slow in the first part. Again, this isn't like the beginning and middle and ends. Like every act of the Star Wars movies have these really interesting, like they're pretty much like 3-act movies. And this is going to be one big act, Well, it's kind of a couple. It's a few acts, but it has to get to this is a war movie, a Star Wars movie story, and so to tell all this in the space of 2 hours and 15 minutes ish, you're gonna have to trim the fat, and so the characterization has to go. I think you know enough that these people are quirky and they are expendable. Because, as we all know, if you've seen it, yes, again, I said, they all die. But it's how they die. Again, when you watch another movie like Saving Private Ryan, you don't really know that much about these people, but when they die, you do still kind of care, and it's how they die. Like how, the medic dies. He's the one taking care of everybody in Saving Private Ryan, and he's dying, and he's calling out for Mama, and he had said that, he had kind of, been ignoring her before he, he would fake being asleep, and then when he's dying, he's calling out for Mama. See, those are the little bits of characterization. That's all you need in a movie about that's just a story. That's not just, doesn't have the time to spend a lot on characterization. But because we're so freaking in love with Star Wars and its characters that people are having a hard time getting past that. So I'm done with that part, because this movie is really, really fantastic. I consider this to be the best filmed, and the way it looks, Star Wars movie of all time. It's and everybody's saying it on every channel, so I feel like I'm treading over, very, very the same stuff, but it's a world that looks lived in. It looks like it's dirty and gritty, and the stormtroopers have dirt on their helmets. Nothing's all clean. They've got the old costumes from back in the day. This looks like the time period that before around the time A New Hope starts, and it's just such a dynamic looking. I'm glad they went to a bunch of planets, because it gave you a chance to see more than just Tatooine or Hoth, all the things that we see in movies and games and books, always bringing those things back. It's good to see places that are different. The action sequences, somebody was talking about boring. I don't know what movie you were watching. And the third act alone is worth the price of admission. We all know that. If you've seen it, you all know that. It is one of the greatest spectacles of film and Star Wars that I've ever seen. It is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one of the best moments, like that last 45 minutes or so is one of the, easily in the top moments of Star Wars, film-wise. Felicity Jones, I heard about all these reshoots and everything, and some people are saying that she wasn't likable and stuff. But again, I don't think she, I still didn't find her that likable if that was what they were trying to figure out. But I didn't care about her being likable. There's a job to do. There's a mission. The mission is more important. Getting those Death Star plans. If, anybody that's seen the Star Wars movies knows that Death Star had to go. So Felicity Jones did good with what she had. Diego Luna did, did the best he could with what he had. Forrest Whitaker, I think he's being really misunderstood. He seems to be cheesing it up and overacting, and I think they don't understand it. Part of that, I think, is him with the suit that he's in. That he can't really breathe. That he's very, a lot of machine parts on him. He's barely a man, and I think that when he gets upset and things, it takes a lot out of him, and he sounds weird. And I think that because Forrest Whitaker is that kind of actor, that's the performance you got. And I am, he's a very method kind of guy. So I think that what people are misinterpreting as maybe cheesiness or overacting is his interpretation of this man is different than what you're looking at. I don't think you're looking at the character as, like the real damage that this war has done on this guy and how he would react to things. The robot, again, unbelievable. Danny Young and I can't remember the guy from Old Boy. Those guys were great. Even the weird Imperial pilot, he was all quirky and jittery, and he had that brain thing happen to him. So of course he's going to be screwed up. It really felt like something that we, I hope we can get things like this again. They explain why Luke was flying. I had to fire into that little tiny port. That originally she was going to be able to, they were going to be able to destroy it, in a different way. But the way things go down, it wasn't possible, and that's why they had to go in there and shoot it like that. That's a really great way to finally answer that question. A lot of people were like, why is there just this little thing to shoot? Trying to think of more stuff because I always forget something at the end and I hit stop and I'm like, oh shit. The Death Star in itself, the way they used it and how they would pinpoint things instead of blowing up places, which even after they hit it with a pinpoint thing where they weren't trying to blow up the whole planet, I still don't know how the planet didn't blow up with the amount of destruction that happened. It was amazing. The CGI that they used for Princess Leia and Grand Moff Tarkin, look, man, it is what it is. Don't take it so seriously. Does it look weird? Sure. This term Uncanny Valley that's been used and used and used already till it's been beaten to death, I don't really care. It didn't take me that far out of it. I'm just like, oh shit, that's not the guy, but it's a computer guy. Oh well, that's life. This isn't real life. This is a movie. So I just roll with it. You just gotta roll with these things. Stop being, bitching about all these things. They were trying to give everybody everything. I mean, there was so much fan service in this movie. It was just maybe my only major gripe is that they probably didn't need any of that. But they know that they want to get the people, like, they want new fans and old fans and blah, blah, blah. And that's the way it's just gonna be, guys. It's just the way it's gonna be. Disney's running things. And it's seems to be working okay for Marvel, so I think, we need to relax. Break it down. We're being way too critical. This thing isn't trying to be the new Star Wars. Nobody's going to take away your Star Wars. I mean, I love The Force Awakens, but I am kind of torn between where this ranks for me. Because for me, it's Empire, and then it was A New Hope, and then Jedi. And then The Force Awakens comes out. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, Empire, The Force Awakens, A New Hope, Jedi. And people are like, how can you say that? Like, A New Hope is so good, and it is. And so is Jedi with Ewoks. But now Rogue One's out, and I'm putting that somewhere, like Force Awakens and Rogue One are like, they're so separate movies, but I'm kind of like, right now, gut reaction, I'm putting this under Empire. Holy crap, I think my TV's freaking out. Let's see. Oh, there we go. love A New Hope and I love Jedi, but and they're classics. They, Star Wars A New Hope started it all. But I'm a person who likes to roll with the times, and as much as I love A New Hope, I like new things. I like the new toys that I get. So maybe this will drop down later on, and I'll realize later on in my life that A New Hope deserves and Jedi deserves to be back up there. Until then, though, Force Awakens and Rogue One are battling it out for second and third place for me. Vader, really quickly, used sparingly, used well. Scary dude. Don't want to be in a locked room with him. So, in the end, I really hope that you go see this. See it any way you can possible. I talked a lot more about people's problems with the movie than how I actually feel about it. It's really, really freaking good. So, just go and see it as soon as you can. Anyway, this is Rob from Smirking Gun. If you see this and you like it, please like and subscribe. It would really help me out. I'm not getting paid to do this. It's just for fun. But it does, help me out a little bit, confidence-wise in making these videos if people actually subscribe and like my videos. So, without pandering too much more, go see Star Wars Rogue One as soon as you can. Bye.